we've reached the section of this little world we're in about, maybe buying a house. We've got our line of credit established. We've got credit scores established, hopefully at this point or close to it. Well, today we're actually going to talk about what do we want to have as a monthly payment. I think there's probably some of you that are listening to this that maybe have just been living with mom and dad and not really been making much of a housing payment. So I just task you with sitting down and looking at how much money you actually bring in every month and think, okay, how much can I actually allocate to a housing payment and still be able to survive? So we're going to write down how much money we actually have per month coming in. This is going to be the money that gets deposited to your bank account after taxes and all the deductions from your paycheck have come out. How much money actually goes into your bank account every month. And we're going to use a higher number for this case. And I'm just going to say you have $4,000 every month that goes into your bank account. With that being said, on a debt to income ratio, which means how much money is going towards my debt in comparison to how much money is coming in, we're restricted on the lending side of the mortgage industry to a certain percentage. But when people come into my office, I always say to them, okay, I can qualify you maybe for a little bit higher payment than maybe what you feel comfortable with. So I always make people tell me, what do they feel comfortable with each month? And sometimes we don't hit the right connection with that plan. Sometimes people say, well, I can handle a $2,500 mortgage payment, and because maybe they have side gigs that have more money coming in than what I can use for income qualification. But so maybe I can only qualify them on $1,800 or something. So the big question is what do you feel comfortable with making on a monthly payment? So in the event that you actually took home $4,000 every month between yourself, your spouse that's living with you, what do you feel comfortable with on a monthly payment? That's going to be the number one thing you want to figure out. We need to figure out your budget. So in your budget side of things, you're going to take your net income. So in our case, we're going to say $4,000. And in your case, just write down what you actually have deposited every month into your bank account. And then you're going to subtract out the things that you need per month. Okay, I've got my car payment. It's this much money. I've got my credit card that I pay off every month. It's this much money. I have groceries. It's this much money. I have my fuel bill, my gas bill. It's this much money. My cell phone bill. My leisurely things. Maybe I want to go out to dinner once a week. Maybe I want to go to the movies once a week. Maybe I decided I wanted to buy a motorcycle so I could play with my motorcycle. Then what's that going to cost me? And so you start writing down what each one of those are going to cost per month, and you subtract that from your initial number, and you come up with how much money you have left over. So let's just use some hypotheticals. Let's say our net income on the top of our paper is $4,000. And we have a $500 car payment. I'm going to try to make these super, super easy so the math is easy for me. So our $4,000 just got reduced to $3,500. And let's say our cell phone bill is $100. So now we're at $3,400. And our car insurance is $100. So now we're at $3,300. Our grocery bill is $300. So now we're at $3,000 that we have left over. And then we like to play a little bit. So we want to budget about $200 per month to just play. So now we're at $2,800. We've kicked in some money for a charitable donation. That should be 4% or, $400 because we're saying 10% here. So now we're at $2,400. And then whatever miscellaneous things come out, let's just narrow down that we take out the first $2,000 to go through all of our bills and car insurance and cell phone bills and groceries and play money and all that jazz. And we have about $2,000 left over for the month to be able to go towards other things. Okay, the problem is we don't want to be house poor. And defining house poor is basically all you do is pay your bills and you can't even enjoy life because you're paying bills. We don't want to create that. Absolutely do not want to create that. So we want to make sure that we are planning accordingly to be able to not have every bit of money going towards bills. So with this being said, you have $2,000 left over in our scenario, but do we really? Do we really have that much money? No, let's actually say I want to have an extra $500 in my nest egg. And so I'm going to take that number and say, out of that $2,000 that I really show that I have left over, I want to drop that to $1,500 because I want to have a little extra money. So I'm going to say I want to have a house payment no more than $1,500, and that gives you some cushion to be able to go play. So I task you with creating a budget. I task you with finding out what your income is after taxes have come out, all of your deductions come out. Start at the top of your paper with that number, subtract out all the things that have to be paid, throw some money in savings in your scenario, make sure you're paying a charitable donation in your scenario, car insurance, cell phone bills, all of those things are coming out on your monthly budget on your notebook paper, and you're coming up with how much money can you qualify in your mind on for a house payment. That's where we're going to end today, is making sure that we have our budget lined up and everything good that way, making sure we know what we feel comfortable with on making a monthly payment so that we're prepped and ready to go through the actual qualification process. So let's go out and be adults and not be afraid.